Hello, friends of Skele Vader, and welcome to episode 16 of the Toy Frenzy. Holy moly.
Is it 16 or 17? I think it's 17 this week.
Is it 17?
Yeah, I thought 16 was last week.
No, it's 16 because this is my fourth with you straight.
Okay.
And I started with the 13th episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good thing we have each other.
That's right.
We can figure this stuff out. So yeah, it's and this one's a good one, right, guys? We're talking about revision strategies.
Exactly.
That's right. I just like to say they're all good though.
So far.
They are all good. We were lucky, and knock on wood, we have not had a sad, disappointing show yet.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe we should theme a show sad and disappointing in the future, like Toy Frenzy, episode 22, sad and disappointing.
We're all getting older.
Yeah.
I just do a little frowny face for Keklar. There we go. That's about as sad and disappointing as we get. Everybody missed Keklar. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm very much an optimist, and when I'm not a pessimist, I'm an optimist. And so I feel like Keklar is coming back. I feel like there's going to be another opportunity for us to get Keklar in the future. I don't know how that's going to pan out, but I was definitely feeling the sadness throughout the Masters of the Universe community last night. And, but I think, folks, don't give up. I think he'll come around.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he'll be released. They already did all the tooling, sculpting, and everything. They'll release him either as an exclusive on Mattel Creations, or they'll put him in a pack, like a 3-pack or whatever, with other elders or something like that. He'll be around. We'll see him probably close to Eternia coming. I would say
a 3-pack of elders would be freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Do it just like they did with the Sunman 3-pack.
Yeah.
And have Keklar and his 2 homeboys, or even if they wanted to do, say, the Powers of Grayskull, like a 3-pack. You put Keklar in there, Eldor, and Hero for Origins, since we haven't had him in Origins. There we go, guys.
Yep.
I've solved it. We'll get Keklar, Eldor, and Hero 3-pack. There we go.
Well, you know what Oz says is true, because he got his name from Nostradamus, who predicted all kinds of stuff, right?
There you go.
Nostradamus Toys. If you want to know what's coming, listen to him.
I wish that were as accurate. Like, if I was even an iota as accurate as him. I mean, I'm pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I've called a couple of things, but
no pressure, right?
I know Mattel's watching, so again, 3-pack. Powers of Grayskull.
Hi, Mattel.
We'll see.
That's right.
I'm 100% positive he's coming.
Yeah, I hope so. I think I need it. I really need it.
Yeah, a lot of people had interest, but it didn't make it. But it's understandable.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see that figure. I know we will.
So before we go in and say hi to the chat, I just wanted to say something real big, and I'm sorry, guys, I didn't preface this at all at the beginning. I want to give a huge shout out to, one of the core members of the Awesomeverse, Ray at Collecting Classics.
Yes.
I don't know how he did it yesterday. That man live streamed nearly the whole day through, all the way up, and did a countdown with Mega J.
Yes.
At the end of the night towards it. I don't know how he made it. That man was running on like less than fumes. Somebody came in and poured octane booster into his gas tank so he could run off of that for a few minutes, because he went so hard yesterday, pushed harder than anybody else I know to try and get it to 10K.
Yep.
That's
just singing its praises from the top. And Ray from Collecting Classics, I don't see you in the chat here tonight, but man, you are hero. Okay, that's all I've got to say, man. He just blew it out of the water yesterday.
Yep.
The guy's amazing.
I really think like there should be a Modi trophy sent to Ray. So
Yes.
Mattel, send a Modi trophy to Ray, please.
At Collecting Classics on IG,
yeah,
you'll find him.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
He really worked his butt off for yesterday. So
Yeah, yeah, he was a champion for it. That's definite.
for sure. So thank you, Ray. That was awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Ray.
So let's get into the chat. We've got, by the way, the chat is exploding tonight. We've got a lot
Awesome.
of catching up to do. So first off, first member of the awesome verse to join the chat, Thanos Copter.
What's up?
What's going
Good
on,
to see
Thanos
you.
Copter?
And Ray Black, good to see you. And of course, we've got the Duchess of Darkness. Great to see you here.
So good.
Safe with the hey everyone there compared to last week.
That's right. That's right. Totally. And by the way, if you all have not watched or listened to this last week's Wicked Wednesday, the fast food horror stories was amazing. What a brilliant concept.
Yeah,
so
she's
good.
great. She's
Just
great.
amazing. And let's see, they're chatting with each other for a little while there. Then we've got Jay Peregrine. Good to see you.
Excellent, Jay. Glad to have you.
Always good to see you. And Gamer Bud, hello everyone. Skelly, Oz, and beautiful blushing Bobby. Gamer Bud.
We got to stop that. That's got to go away. You're going to make me do this every week.
Yeah, we got to replace that with like Punk Rock Bobby or something.
Yeah, something like that. There you go.
There you go.
That's what they used to call me back home. So
there you go. There you go. So yeah, thank you, Gamer Bud, and good to see you here. And
see, I can't get over that. That's something.
See, Gamer Bud, you made him blush already. And then we've got Damon showing up. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, Damon.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, for sure.
Catching the show live this week. Awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
It's so great. It's so great. And the Prowler, welcome the Prowler. And the Prowler had a story in Duchess's episode this week.
Yeah, I'm a fan now.
He is quite the author.
Yep.
I don't know why I keep saying last week. It was yesterday.
It feels like last week, doesn't it?
This has been the longest 24 hours, I think, in ages for me.
Yes. Same here.
We're all coming down off of the Eternia high.
Yeah. It was hard to concentrate at work yesterday, and I've just been feeling wiped out. Are you all feeling like a little bit of like the Eternia hangover right now? Because I've been feeling it for like a week and a half.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing, because it's in the back of your mind. Is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? So it's just that stress in the back of your head that gets you a little bit.
Well, last 2 days I've crashed out early for me, which that's insane. Like last night, I admit I did not make it through Duchess's Wicked Wednesday last night. I ended up crashing out. I finished it this morning though. Loved the stories. But yeah, just like the last 2 days, I crashed out really early in the evening for me. So I don't know. Like tonight, I got plenty of coffee in me. I'm hyped up, ready to go. Tomorrow's Friday. It's the end of the week. I'm ready for it. Ready for the weekend.
Yeah, me too.
Me too, man. I'm scrolling ahead to the chat because they have been talking to each other in the chat, and it's awesome to see. But there's one thing that I want to point out here, and Duchess of Darkness. I think we should also have the Skelly verse and the vintage verse.
Ha!
Oh, okay, sure.
Very nice.
Subverses.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, that's great.
Gotta incorporate more.
Of course, the old guy is the vintage.
Yeah.
What's better than vintage, though? Seriously.
Nothing.
At least you're only like a year older than me, right?
I don't know how old you are, but I'll be 50 next year. So.
All right, so you're a couple years older than me.
Yeah. See, I'm older than everybody. It seems lately.
That's all right.
It's a bad feeling.
No, own it. Own it.
I do. I'm free spirited. I'm good.
I think a person who's, I think any of our friends in the Masters of the Universe community that's about like 3 or 4 years older than me, really got to experience it in a way I didn't get to experience it. Like I was right there at the beginning, but if I would have been like 3 years older, it would have been like, it would have been magical for me, even more magical than it was.
Yeah, and I've said that before to other people, or I mentioned that I was born in the perfect year because I got to experience everything that I love from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's always a thing in my head, and I love that.
That is really awesome. Yeah.
We probably got to see A New Hope or Star Wars in the movie theater. And I only got to see Empire Strikes Back in the theater.
Yeah, I saw A New Hope, but I think it wasn't even called New Hope at the time. And
Yes.
I always call it Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't even call it A New Hope.
Before
And,
it was A New Hope, it was
yeah,
just
but
Star Wars.
I remember seeing it at the drive-in,
Oh.
and I've seen it Close Encounters at the drive-in as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might have been 1979, 80 when they reissued them. When they brought them, they always brought movies back to theaters back then.
Right.
So I remember that because I was 77 when it came out. I was 4 years old. So yeah. But yeah.
So own it. It's a good place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Damon said Modi is our brain slug. True. Yeah.
Definitely.
Modi definitely looks like a version of that thing that Khan put in.
I hated that scene as a kid.
Rough.
I always have
so rough
ears. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Well, speaking of Modi, I have a special shirt that I'm going to have next week from a friend of mine. So I'll be wearing that because everybody always talks about my shirts. I don't know why, but they do. But
we love your shirts, man.
Hey, man. I just got the plain black tee on. The's not much to say about that.
I'm competing. I'm competing with some Ace Frehley today.
That's right. There you go.
Ace is great.
Ace is great. Carol Geis is here. Welcome back, Carol.
Hey, sis.
And we've got Ronald Embry here. Good to see you.
It's amazing that everybody shows up every single week. It's awesome.
I know. I love it.
It's amazing.
Always. This is fantastic. And we've got JMac77. Good to see you here.
JMac, glad to have you.
Fantastic. And we've got John Westby coming back.
Always good to have John.
The whole gang is here. This is fantastic. I'm scrolling through. Sorry, folks, if I'm missing some of your conversations happening there, but let's see here. Oh, and we've got Corey. Corey showed up. Welcome back, Corey.
Corey, glad to have you.
Hey, and we got Skyfall is back too.
Awesome.
Nice.
The chat just keeps growing. This is epic.
Yeah, this is great. This is really great.
Guys, thank you all for being here every week. This is so awesome.
And wait a second. Thank you, Duchess. Thank you, Duchess. And then Damon said drive-ins rule. Yes.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
They're dying. Or
10
dead.
to 15 minutes up the road is about the last drive-in theater in Maryland.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. They just closed down our last remaining one, not about 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm glad that you still have one.
It's on the verge every season. Like they've announced that it's going to be like the last season just about every year for like the past 20 years. So
yeah,
we never know when it'll actually happen or not, but they always end up, I guess, just squeaking by every year.
Yeah, it's scary to see something like that go away. And we got Bullwinkle 80.
Bullwinkle 80, awesome. Loving that image, man. Boba Fett, yes.
Yep.
We all love Boba Fett, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Here we go. Thanos Copter. I grew up down the street from a drive-in used to sneak in all the time as a kid. Yeah. Thanos Copter, the drive-ins here in the Central Valley, as you know, like were legendary places as they usually are. But I remember there's a highway 99 here, and it connects Fresno to some of the smaller towns. It also connects Fresno to Bakersfield. And we would drive to my grandparents' house, which is in a small town, and there was a drive-in right off the freeway. and every time we'd go to my grandparents' house, I'd be able to see movies playing on the screen. And every once in a while, I'd get to catch like a 3-second glimpse of an R-rated scene. And I was just looking forward to that silently, right?
Excellent.
That's right. That's right. That flash of nudity, and
Yes.
you're just hoping it happened as you were driving past.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or blood and guts.
Yeah, the blood
something.
and guts.
Hey,
Hey,
Masters of the
Comics is
Mini
here.
Comics came. Excellent. Good to have you,
Good to
man.
see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely great to see you in here. And then also Carol Geist, last time I went to a drive-in, I needed to get a jump start to leave. Oh man,
Wow.
Oh no.
that stinks.
Yeah.
Carol, was that when you were still living here in Maryland? Or do you got some nice drive-ins over there at Indiana?
We will find out.
That's
We
right.
will find out. So what did you guys get this week? Let's talk about what we found out there in the wild this week.
Well,
Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first because I don't have anything to show right now. But
All right.
I will let everybody know, and I'm hoping it comes in by Saturday when I do my live stream.
Cool.
So everybody knows Sean from Powers Grayskull podcast, and he and I were chatting. He had picked up 2 of the Headless Horseman figures from the 4 Horsemen. And after chatting for a bit, he decided he was going to let one go. And so that should be arriving by this Saturday.
That's fantastic. I wish I can get that.
Oh, man.
Uh,
Yeah,
Oh,
Sean
breaks
is a
my
great
heart.
guy. Definitely
Yeah.
hooked me up. Speak of the
Speaking
devil,
of
and
it,
he shall appear.
Podcast is here.
It's nice to know that I have a good reputation when I'm not around.
Nothing but praises for you, Sean. Thank you again.
go.
I really,
Not a
really
problem.
appreciate it.
I was just checking to see if you had responded to my my message.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix.
I have not checked that out yet. What do you
Yeah, I'm
think?
waiting for that too.
Yeah, we've been doing like one episode every time that we finally have downtime. There's no kids or whatever.
Yes.
We just got through the 3rd episode, and 15 minutes ago, I got your message, and I'm like, if you want me to show up, I am happy to show up. So here I am.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank
Sorry,
you. Thank you
sorry,
for having
wife.
me on.
Cabinet of Curiosities. Well, I got something better to do right now.
Yeah, well, when the minute I saw it was Skelly, I'm like, oh well, I'm not going to bed anytime soon. I'm going to do this. So
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
Our kids are at the age where we don't get to watch Cabinet of Curiosities without them.
Oh, nice.
So they're into it, and like I just want to see. We watched the first episode, and now I'm just waiting for our oldest just started college, so she comes home on the weekends, and that's when we'll hopefully catch up. But it's real good.
Yeah. 3rd episode was a little like that was different, but everything else so far, yeah, I'm digging it. So
Awesome.
Well, you popped in at just the right time, Sean, because we are talking about what we found this week, and Oz was just talking about what he's got coming this week.
Well, also, I just got a very awesome email and notification too, and I guess this counts. My Roboto and 2 Shiras have shipped.
All right.
Fantastic.
Perfect timing.
That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's great that they had them available again.
Yes. Yeah. Been waiting a couple months for these since they announced them.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried that it wasn't going to come through. And then it was a whole fiasco. So I managed to get it straightened out. And
Yeah, they were on pre-order for a very long time. So
yeah.
It's good to see that they're here. And I've been looking, I don't know if you all have Targets around you, but I've been checking out the local Targets on my lunch breaks every once in a while.
Looking for the Wave 2.
See if Wave 2 shows up with the 40th anniversary stickers on there, and nothing.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either. I'm waiting to get a second trap jaw so I can open them.
Yeah.
Just keep the eyes peeled. That's all. And again, as always, let the networks around. If you come across it, put us on alert. Let us know.
Yes, yes, please do, people. Gamer Bud said, "Quick, Bobby, shave your head. We need 4 bald men of the universe."
This ain't going nowhere. I cut my own.
Enjoy it while you have it.
I cut my own hair for the past 20-something years, but I'll never shave it.
Thanos Stopper, don't do it, Bobby. Don't do it.
No, I won't.
Hey, look, it's about the same. I've cut my hair for the past about 20 years too, actually. So
Same here. Yeah.
you know, I just did mine a little earlier tonight, looking nice and smooth, shiny as could be.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Look like Keklar.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more down the front, but
Yeah, but at least you got the top started.
I got the top first.
You know, I did have I didn't shave because I had to go out on emergency stuff for work, and I didn't shave for like the past 3 days, and nope, I couldn't go on today unless I shaved. So, because I know you guys were talking about me needing to grow a beard, but I was like, no, not doing it.
Gamer Bud says to check the end caps because I saw a Target pic. Yeah, that's what I've been looking for. And actually, I know folks are excited about the 40th anniversary sticker on that wave too, but I kind of just want that. I just want the end cap. I want the cardboard.
Yeah.
Like, with those
that right behind me.
Yeah, I wasn't that interested in the wave 1 cardboard display that came out, but this wave 2's got, it's got all those characters on there, and it's beautiful.
I have yet to see any kind of standee or cardboard shelving, any of that stuff for any of these things. Like everybody else was showing like the pictures of like that gray skull one that was sitting on the quad in the middle of the floor. Never saw it. People have shown like I did see one with the minis. I did see that one. Haven't seen anything.
Yeah, same here.
I really wanted to run across that gray skull one too.
Oh, me too. Me too. I don't know where I would have put it, but I would have figured out. I would have put it like a headboard on the bed. I don't know. Something.
I'm not going to bed. I'm visiting Grayskull.
That's right. That's right.
You laminate it and you put it outside in the backyard.
There we go. And then I allow Connor to play in it. That'd be perfect.
There you go.
Nice.
So we talked about it briefly, I think maybe before, but have any of you seen that fiberglass gray skull bunk bed that Hollywood Haunter made for his kid?
Yes.
I don't know if I've seen that. I don't recall.
Yeah, you gotta check out the Hollywood Haunter videos. I watch people building things on YouTube all the time, and came across him. He's really, really cool. He builds, I guess his side job is he builds sets.
Oh, okay.
So he's an expert with that stuff. And he built this, you can watch, there's like 5 episodes of the process of him building this massive bunk bed Castle Grayskull based on not the first Mark Taylor design, but the Mark Taylor design for the toy itself.
Okay.
He and his wife sculpted.
Nice.
So it's like got the front, the top jaw that kind of curves out a little bit more.
Yeah, the only thing I'm good at building is putting boxes of toys in my closet. I just stack them up. That's about as good as I get.
That's how you. Right. That's fort building, my friend.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I never thought of it.
You guys know what I'm in the middle of doing now, since you mentioned that, Skele Vader.
Oh, you're looking it up.
I'm trying to find a picture, not just a video of it. We'll see if I'm so lucky. So go ahead and keep talking, guys.
Yeah. So Bobby or Sean, like, what did you guys find this week? Anything cool out there? Well, Sean, you had a busy week, man.
Oh yeah. I had a trip over to New Jersey and ended up at Legion's Con. I took it out of the box.
Oh man!
But this is the Furious 4-pack, which it's only 2 of the figures, but you can make the other 2 if you get 2 more, another one of this. So they had that, and they had the Unknown one, and they had a whole bunch of other Mythic Legions figures. I was basically my buddy Jesse, who's on our Off-World shows. He had the Intern for the Day program over at the Horseman Studios, and he ended up asking me if I wanted to be his +1, and I'm like, well, of course. Like, why would I say no to that? So pretty much from Thursday through Sunday, it was nothing but Four Horsemen and Mythic Legions and reminiscing about when the Horsemen were working on Masters and all sorts of stuff. And on top of that, I ended up on a trivia contest, courtesy of My Wife Is Going to Kill Me podcast, and I even won. And that blew my mind completely because I didn't expect to win anything. So I went into it with like $100 for this weekend, other than paying for the hotel, which I covered that. And I left with about $500 worth of prizes that I did not expect to win.
Wow.
So at the end of the weekend, I'm like, I can't complain at all. That was an amazing weekend. I felt like I went to Vegas and completely, tore the place down. But yeah, so, and I got another Headless Horseman because of winning.
Nice.
I got 2 Furious 4-packs, Nate Barch prints and art, and a bunch of other goodies. So it's been crazy. I was just down here the other night just starting to go through things, and then it was 2 a.m. and I'm like, I got to go to bed. So that was going to be next. But then, like I said, when Skele Vader calls, you answer. So that'll maybe be after this then. I'll do a little bit of downtime messing around with that stuff. So
that's cool. That's amazing. And actually the messing around with the stuff till 2 a.m. before you know it, it's 2 a.m. is kind of part of what we're talking about tonight too. So do the collection and showing stuff. Real quick from Thanos Copter, any new stuff from Formo at Legion Con? I saw they were there.
Formo had a stand, but it was basically they were just showing the mock-ups and everything. As far as I remember, they didn't have anything brand new. So that was pretty cool. At least Josh Van Pelt was there.
Cool.
And I mean, Legion's there's a running gag right now. Unfortunately, that your biggest exclusive that you got was COVID going there, because my friend Jesse, like literally of the show, he had something hit him really hard and he got really sick. Next day, he's like, yeah, I tested positive. Another guy tested positive. And it's like all these people in the group are testing positive one after the other. And thankfully, I did test. No, I'm negative on the last 2 tests I've done. So hopefully that's the end of that. But Formo was there. There was a bunch.
Nice.
Like they had like an independent creator deal where it was just, hey, all these companies that like they had the Glyos people were there, and they were selling off their own little Glyos figures and pieces and stuff as well. So yeah, it was a great little show. And on top of that, with what you guys were talking about the building thing, it was awesome just to see the amount of creativity of the people that were there that are customizers, and painters and just pop and swaps and things like that. So to anybody out there watching right now, if that interests you, go check out 2023 when Legion Con hits again, because I don't know of any other convention where they celebrate that way. And it's weird that the people who are the ones creating the figures are actually more than happy to let the fans enjoy this and play in their sandbox to create their own things and their own visions.
Well, I think that makes sense because, Four Horsemen Studios, all those guys are fans of Masters of the Universe, and Masters of the Universe. And as you all know, like they designed the 2000X figures, and they designed most of the classics figures. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
All the way up until Super 7 took over. They were the ones doing all the sculpting for the original 2000X series, all the way through classics, again, right up until Super 7 took it.
And then the Mythic Legions line is like the cousin. It's like if the creators that are inspired by Masters could create their own toy line, it inevitably would have looked like Mythic Legions. And so it's like it's a celebration of goodness. It's so weird. It's not weird. It's wonderful. Like how fans of Masters of the Universe are so driven to make their own stuff and to create and to customize. And so it would make sense that Legions Con would be representative of that faction of the fandom.
Yeah.
So it's good that they're honoring that and that they're using it in that way.
Yeah, it was basically when you go to Leeds. Even last year, I went and it was way smaller.
Yeah.
But even for that one day of going, because it was only a 1 day event last year,
Mhm.
I was still overwhelmed with the amount of creativity and the amount of people that were doing customs, the amount of people doing third-party pieces and things like that, between weapons, between head sculpts. And
Yeah.
there's one called Immortal Collections. He was doing all these
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Asian inspired things that aren't even in the line. So you could have made like Asian inspired like gods out of the Mythic Legions figures, and that was captivating for me to look at
Yeah.
because it was above and beyond anything I would have expected. But even for 2 days this year, it was still so much that people were like, we didn't have enough time to see it all. And that says a lot of the kind of, the community of that. And yeah, the fact that they are wanting to share that and wanting people to dive in that way is impressive. And I mean, in this day and age, how many toy companies can you say you could name the people who work there and they let you come in and spend the day as an intern and go through the whole place and just enjoy what makes you excited to collect?
Yeah.
It's like this. It's very much like Golden Ticket Willy Wonka. The minute that happens. So it's a heck of a moment. It's awesome. So I would recommend Legions Con. Anybody that's interested, definitely next year. Keep your ear open. Find out when the event is. They haven't set it up yet, but should be pretty soon.
All right, so folks that want to become Patreons of the Skelevator, Ostradamus, or Vintage Motu channels, please do so. That'll help the Toy Frenzy crew go out to Legions Con and represent their contributions to the creative world in that space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So Bobby, what did you get this week?
Okay, well, I'll run it through real quick. I don't want to take up too much time with it.
Do it. Take up as much time as you want.
I got the new, Bolt. I can't see Boltman and He-Man snake armor.
Beautiful.
And I got it's the whole wave. I got Rattler and Cobra Khan as well.
Can you just bring Cobra Khan up here to the front here just a little bit?
Is that better?
I just want to crush on him for a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at the blister packs.
Yeah, I like that because I'm backwards on the camera.
I know it's hard to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lean
see that?
that way. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool. He doesn't have the spring-loaded head, but it's still it is what it is. And I did have a baby this week too. My son and his girlfriend gave me this. I mean, this thing's huge. It's missing the gold chain that came with it. I think it fell off, so I hope it doesn't come alive like the what do you call it? That one horror movie, the Trilogy of Terror. So we'll see. Yeah, it scares you.
You should put him in some swaddling cloths and carry him around.
Yeah, or a little stroller and take it through Target when I'm going shopping for toys. But here's the thing I got embarrassed of that I bought because I said I wasn't going to get it. And after I bought Eternia, I was like, what the hell's another $100 and something? So I did get the 40th pack.
Oh no!
And
figures.
His phone can't even believe it.
Yeah. It's amazing. I got this.
That's a gorgeous looking set.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I broke down and bought it. I just looked at it this morning.
That design, the design of that box is what's worth it. It's such a cool. I have it sitting on the shelf in the toy room, and I don't have the toys out. It's like it's all contained, but I'm just happy just looking at that TV screen.
Bobby, if you could, or Skelevator, if you could you measure the dimensions of the window for the TV set? Because I'm not going to lie, I just had an idea. I kind of want to see if you could put a tablet inside that and make like a vintage TV,
Yeah.
eternity TV.
Yes, for
It's
sure.
9 1/4 by 8 3/4.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it'd be hard to find a square tablet, but I could figure something. That would be
Yeah.
cool. I'm really thinking about it now. I don't know. I'll have to see.
Well, if you play the old Filmations, those are still going to be square because of the ratio they were made in. So really, that
Right.
might work.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. I could
That'd be neat.
probably do this.
That'd be neat.
I bet you could find a TV to fit those measurements, an old TV.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know I could.
Thanos Copter said my buddy came over and he thought it was the coolest things in his display. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I enjoy it more now that I have it. Like I said before, I said it was a lot of money for extra cardboard, but
Yeah.
now I'm being a hypocrite. And I do, and I'm glad I got it now, especially because it's got the New Adventures He-Man in there. But I've never had that figure, so that's a good one.
He's in my opinion, he's the best one in that set.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, he's really, it's sort of that it's great to see him in the vintage style.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, he's great.
Yep.
I didn't think anything of it until I laid my hands on it, and I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Adventures is the best. Well, it's one of the best, right?
Yeah.
But sure, New Adventures is awesome.
Yeah, the figure wise, yeah.
Yeah,
I would say so.
Right.
The villains figures alone are phenomenal in that line.
Optic.
Yes.
Got him right there.
Oh,
He's just he's a eyeball.
Yeah, and he's great.
Love it.
He's great.
Love it.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the New Adventures until this year, to be honest. I tried watching it before a few times, just never could get into it. And maybe I'm getting older and I'm accepting things more, but I really enjoyed watching it this time. And I actually look forward to watching it again.
I think it's one of those ones that just kind of has to grow on you a little
Yeah.
bit. Like at the time it came out, severe disappointment due to it wasn't He-Man enough for me. He looked kind of wimpy. There just wasn't a whole lot about it. But then it's like years later, I go back and watch it, and I was like, they were really trying to keep He-Man going, and they were trying to bring new stuff to the table. I gotta say though, the rest of the new masters or the galactic protectors or whatever you want to call them, most of those guys were kind of they fell a little flat.
the heroes weren't really that great.
Right.
No.
But the villains throughout the whole thing were amazing.
Yeah, it's all about the mutants. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And the only hero that I can remember that I liked, and this is because of classics, was Tuscador.
Yeah.
Tuscador.
That
God, he was huge.
classics in particular, you put those long tusks on him, and that guy, like I always pictured, I got him before I had a Ram Man. I was like, I don't care what Ram Man's gonna look like. This guy would make him scared to death because those tusks are huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the only one visually that even grabbed my attention from the hero side, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Sagitar is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they never made him any other way. Wasn't he one of those that they never got to because the line ended, or did they make one of him?
No, they did make him. He's really expensive though. Yeah,
He
hard
was
to
towards
get.
the end of the line, so he's very low production. But
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, he was actually a concept for the original Masters line that they did not get to, and then they incorporated him into the New Adventures.
Pulling out the knowledge.
That's right.
It's like
It's all in there somewhere.
or something, right?
Ooh.
Well,
I got to study more.
yeah, I've given up on studying because I have Legends of Grayskull podcast, which teaches me a bunch of stuff, and Ostradamus toys that teach me a bunch of stuff. It's like I don't even have to try anymore. I look at the books for the pictures now. I don't have to read them anymore.
Yeah. It's like being a kid again.
Yeah. So this is the guy I found, and I had been resisting buying the NECA Universal Monsters Frankenstein like deluxe edition or whatever you want to call it for almost $40, which is beautiful, by the way. But I've been resisting it because I knew that the glow in the dark Remco style figures would be coming out from NECA. And I also knew that the price point would be a little bit lower, but I just love the way this particular figure came out. I was just telling Bobby earlier that the Wolfman is cool. The mummy in that version was cool too, but I think this figure really accomplishes the aesthetic of the Remco figures. And just look at those dead eyes.
Yeah.
Gosh, gorgeous.
And then I'm going to be posting a video tomorrow or the next day that will show his glow, and the glow is like spectacular.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you guys see him on the shelf, if you like the Universal Monsters, grab him. I was hesitant because he actually took me over my monthly budget. So I was like, I gotta do it, and I'm happy. Duchess said, love that figure. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah. So here, Oz found the image here. I'm going to add it to the stream of of Hollywood Haunter and his Gray Skull. So he even created a weapons rack. See,
Yeah.
Those are the sides of the bed. So like when he assembles it,
yeah,
the sides of it are both weapons racks.
Yep.
Oh my lord.
And the frame that holds the mattress towards the top is actually like the floor of Castle Grayskull. It's got like, he's got it designed so it looks like the wood.
Yep.
And then this is the side of the bed, like the facade of it that you would see.
Yeah. So the bed is behind his eyes, essentially.
Yep.
Wow.
And so his son can like peek out the window from his bed. And also there's like this, the door, the jawbridge you can open it with the sword, same way.
Really?
Pretty much the same way as the toy. There's like a little, that little rocky ledge on what would that be? The right-hand side, the shorter tower. There's like a little tube. You can drop action figures through there and it ends up on the inside. It's just like friggin' amazing. And if you go to his channel, Hollywood Haunter, and I'll be sure to, after we're done here tonight, I'll put his link down in the bottom in the description. But you can watch there's like I said, about 5 videos of his process. And if you like process videos, you're gonna love this, and you get to see this thing evolve. And his wife's a set painter, so she did the paint job on this guy. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching. Like the whole thing's decked out like a play set itself.
Yeah.
And as Skele Vader was saying, like it's got little things for the action figures to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just massive, absolutely massive. And I was looking for a good picture that really kind of showed off the scale and incorporated stuff like the weapons rack and everything like that. This was actually the best one that I could find where it showed that, and it's got him with it. So if you need an idea of the scale, he's right there, and he's like 5'9", 5'10", I think he said, and you see how big that thing is.
And behind him, for those of you that are fans of Ghostbusters, in their backyard is the firehouse. We're looking at the inside of the Ghostbusters firehouse right there. And the outside it's all like the brickwork's there. Everything is there. It's just miniaturized. To be like essentially a playhouse for kids. You can see the size. There's that second floor there. There's even a fire pole, but
I mean, here's the giveaway, the sign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. Carol says, I need that in my front yard for Halloween. Yeah, totally. I think that's what got Hollywood Haunter and he and his wife started on their channels. They're big Halloween enthusiasts. And so they collect vintage Halloween stuff. And then they build like Halloween inspired decor for their yard. And it's just they're just constantly building cool things. That kid is living like a king for sure.
King Grayskull.
King Grayskull.
Grayskull for sure. So,
It's amazing.
yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for finding the picture, Oz.
Sure, absolutely.
So let's talk about revising the collections, folks.
Wait, we had a topic for this show?
We have a topic. What does it say? We're 45 minutes in. We're getting started on the topic. I love about this show. But Sean, I'm glad you're here because you've been thinking about this too, and I think this happens when we enter into collecting a new line sometimes, or we look at what we have and we reconsider what we have, sell some of it and buy some new stuff, or change our aesthetic changes, and then we have regrets. So we're gonna have a lot of things to talk about tonight. So oh, here we go. Thanos Copter. That's part of the charm of Toy Frenzy. Yes, we go on and on and on.
We ramble.
So let's see. We have no plan for this. Let's just jump right in. So I'll just start with this. I used to collect Black Series, Star Wars Black Series, and because it was there. I'd see the figures that I'm a fan of the original trilogy, and I'd buy them, and then we watched the new trilogy with the kids, and we bought some of those figures, and it was a lot of fun for a while. But then I realized that now that the kids are older, and they weren't interested anymore. I was only doing it because of my interest in vintage Star Wars stuff. So that was one of the that's how I got my Jabba the Hutt play set. That was one of my big sacrifices, was trading a lot of those figures for larger things. I traded some of those figures to help me get that Snake Mountain, the vintage Snake Mountain that I showed a while back. So I don't know. For me, I feel like I'm less interested in the newer stuff unless it's Origins, and I've never been a completist, and somehow I've become one with Origins, and I didn't have a lot of classics figures, so in no way, shape, or form am I going to venture down that path right now. So for me, I feel like it's been like honing the collection to be more vintage focused, whether it be figures inspired by vintage figures or the actual vintage stuff. Any of you guys experiencing something similar to that?
Yeah, I used to collect a lot of stuff. I have all the Star Wars, the vintage Star Wars, the vintage He-Man. I got vintage mask figures, Black Star, all kinds of stuff. And I would collect a lot of the new stuff that was coming out. I had a lot of the McFarlane figures that were coming out with the those monster figures. Mm-hmm. And then I would get Hellraiser figures and those Clive Barker figures that were coming out. And I was getting into almost everything. And then I started selling some of the stuff because I needed more room, because I didn't want to keep collecting everything. It was just too much. So I wanted to get more focused. So I started just collecting the rest of the Masters of the Universe stuff that I got, and some of the Dick Tracy figures that I bought. And it's tough to let things go that you collected over the years, but at the same time, it's like the stuff I care more about is what I had as a kid or wanted as a kid. So that's my focus now, is basically vintage stuff. So I don't have a lot to get, which is great, but Origins is really taking my money, because that's one of the new things. But I had a 7 or 8 years ago, I went and bought a big lot of the LJN wrestler figures, all on card. And I spent a lot of money on those.
Yeah.
Because I used to have them as a kid. I used to go to Toys R Us and buy them. I had, $3, $4 a piece, it wasn't so bad. But I was like, do I need all of these in a big box taking up all that room in my closet, So I cleaned out my closet and I filled it all back up with Origins. So It's it never
not even
ends.
on
Like I always say, it's the
display.
collector brain, you know. But like, you know, Planet of the Apes now, that's another new thing. The Mego Planet of the Apes I get, you know, because I got the older figures of those. But that's what I have. Yeah, but it's a never ending cycle. But try to get rid of. I regret getting rid of some stuff, but after a while, you forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
We either forget about it or we don't forget about it,
We
right?
try to forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see it again. It like crosses on you on eBay. Like, oh man, why did I get rid of that one now? You know, not because of how much it's worth or anything, but it's like, do I really have to buy that again? You know, now it's double the price of what I bought it for originally. So it's that's the tough part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. How about you guys, Sean, Oz?
No,
Well, Sean, you
for
go
it.
first. No.
All right.
You're the guest. You go first.
So I had a lot of different lines growing up as a kid because my mom was usually cool with me getting new stuff because she knew it would keep me busy for, you know, like a week or two at least. And I was an only child and all that, so it was simpler, I think, to go that route with me. But I found out in the mid 2000s, I want to say, yeah, mid 2000s, that I had it all in storage. We moved from Baltimore up to Pennsylvania when I was like 8 years old, and all of that stuff was in storage. It was in pretty nice shape at that point. And then I found out my dad left. He wanted to stop paying on the storage place that we were doing, you know, holding everything at, and he kept everything outside for decades.
Oh,
So when I
I'm
found
crying
that out,
inside.
I'm like, oh, my Millennium Falcon was the home to a couple of mice at one point.
Oh,
Oh, my He-Man figures are like coated in dirt and all this other stuff. And these were figures that they would have still been pretty nice because I did not roughhouse with them. I tried to keep them nice, and I tried to not have my parents rebuy figures constantly. So as a collector, I've become somebody that I want to get, like, I love the vintage, but I'm never going to go back there because I already had it, and it makes me get that, like, if I already had it and it was destroyed because of somebody's decision to do that, I don't need to go there. I have those memories. So like everything I've jumped into already way past the point where you can go back and easily get some of these things. So my collecting habit is, oh God, how do I figure this out?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy because, like you said, classics, when I jumped into the Motu communities on Facebook, classics like He-Man, Skeletor were going for 100 to 150 easily each.
Yeah.
And, you know, those prices haven't really gone down too much in the last few years either. So I was going in and just jumping on whatever deals I could find to get the main characters. And for me, like you, Skele Vader, I'll never be a completist, but to me, the completist is what's the heart of the thing that you love the most, and get those and make those signify whatever it is about that line or about that, you know, those figures. So like for me, having the only one I don't have is Stratos out of the 8-pack, the original 8 for the card. And that to me was like, I'm good there. And then I got Manny Faces, who's a favorite. I got Fisto, Ram Man, you know, and I've amassed a lot of those. And to me, like the classics, I know how everybody loves Origins, but classics for me is like the Horseman sculpt. And then on top of that, just the articulation and some of that. That to me represents those figures the way that I thought I had them as a kid.
Yeah.
When I hold those in my hands, I'm like, this is what I thought I was holding the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't realize I didn't know that until I got these figures. And same with Mythic Legions. When I jumped into that, some of those figures are, you know, many years past when they were released. So there's certain ones, especially the Motu tributes, where if you want those, you're putting out a pretty penny to get like Adamon, who's supposed to be like He-Man, Keltis, who's Skeletor, and some of those two by themselves could be $200 to $300 easy. There's some on eBay that are going for $800 some days.
Oh.
So, and no, don't buy them. because I'll just say it right now. Like I love those figures, but that is like scalping in a whole crazy way. I can't justify $700 to $800 for a figure unless it's like a Mondo Battle Cat at this point.
Yeah.
But I guess that's my way of doing it. Is like I love that there's all the nostalgia out there for the fans who really wanted to see Motu come back in a way that was memorable for them, and it really brought back that childhood nostalgia, and it played that up a lot, which is great. For me, it's like, okay, I already had that. That's part of why Origins didn't do much for me, but Classics did. I'm getting into a little bit of the Mondo. I have the Deluxe He-Man coming. I have Battle Cat coming, and those. It's like I'm at the point now where I'm like, what represents what I love the best? And without going into foreclosure on my home on top of that. So it's like Mondo's definitely one of those where I'm just like, wow, is that knocking it out of the park? The details, the paint, the sculpts, and then like Mythic Legions and stuff. But yeah, I'm one of those people where to finance one thing, I'll see what I have here and flip it somewhere else and hope to God I can get the money to do the next thing or whatever. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But those are my main lines, is the Masters and Mythic Legions. And yeah, so, but yeah, I've lost some. I've sold somewhere at the end of the day. I'm like, my God, like there's reasons. This whole year has been a reason for me to sell things.
Yeah.
And I just look back and I'm like, oh, I had that character. I hope one day I can get him eventually, and maybe somebody will be nice to me and not make me pay $250 again for that or whatever.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's not easy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the Mondo stuff is like, it's beautiful. It's there is such a thing as too much beauty sometimes, and it's a little terrifying. the cost number one, but also like, those things are that's high art. Those figures are high art. They're amazing, and if you want one, you're gonna need another, and that's quite a commitment. I admire you, Sean, for if you're gonna bite the bullet on that Battle Cat. That's amazing. That's an amazing sculpture right there.
If I wanted to ever tank my marriage, this is the best way to do it. I'm just no, I mean, I've actually in the last year I let my wife in on some of this stuff because she found out how much I paid for this bad boy back here, the Classic Grayskull. And oh dear God, I never heard the end of that for about months until I got her a new dishwasher. And that was how we cemented it. But she told me, like, once, she goes, I'm never letting you live that one down. Like, you got that in here and you got to pass me. And now I know how much you paid. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, like, exactly. Mondo. But the one nice thing about Mondo, in my opinion, is at least those aren't like a line where they're out there on the shelves constantly and just driving me crazy when I see them. I like that it's like it's a little more than a trickle, because they've had like Deluxe He-Man, then they had She-Ra hit, then they had the Revelation Skeletor, and then they had the Standard Edition He-Man and Battle Cat. And there's been a lot of offerings this year, but those don't hit with the same, like typically they're not as rapid in bringing those out. So there is a part where it's like, I wanted the Deluxe He-Man, Battle Cat. Okay, I secured those. If they make a Deluxe Skeletor and Panther, I'm happy. And then after that, it's a wait and see who else they are. I know Trapjaw's on the list and stuff, but we'll wait and see.
That Trapjaw design, didn't we see a Trapjaw design? It looks amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. And in the last, I mean, honestly, if you're a person that's collecting Origins, Mondo, Masterverse, whatever else, plus other toy lines, the last 3 months or 4 months have been insane. Like it's been rough. So yeah, it's a real challenge. We're going to take just a moment because the chat is exploding over here. John says, first, Gamer Bud, right? Skele Vader Stratos is awesome. Yes. So those of you who watch the show know that I have mixed feelings about Stratos. But Stratos is awesome. Okay. I give in.
Don't give in. If you believe that he's not, you can believe that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's seriously, honestly, a love-hate relationship, because I had him as a kid. I loved looking at him, but I also didn't really like him that much. I can't figure out what is it. Why did I avoid him when he was released through Origins on the shelf, just staring at me, and now I regret it. So it is genuinely a love-hate relationship. And John, so it's a challenge. These are my challenges, right? John Westby, I'm not a completist unless it's Motu and Thundercats. Awesome. Thanos Copter, I love Origins, but in a way, I'm looking forward to the line being over, hopefully, after all the vintage has been released with plenty of new guys along the way. I can get that. Like, I feel like knowing that there's an end to Origins, if you are a completist for Origins, it might be kind of a relief at a certain point that the line might end. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon.
At least 2 years you got.
2 years.
At least.
Gamer Bud, I'm not a full line of toy completist, but I'm a team-based completist, so I need the heroic heroes or the horde, but not all the Motu figures. That makes sense. That's cool. And Thanos Copter, that Grayskull is freaking sweet. Really wished I hadn't missed out on the Yeah, I was gonna say that too, Sean, while you were talking. Why did I not jump on that when it came out? That's one of my regrets for the classics line, is not getting that Grayskull. That is a beautiful Grayskull. That Grayskull is the reason why I built a Grayskull. Because I wanted a big Grayskull, and it's beautiful.
My biggest thing was, why didn't, like, I knew the line started in 2008, but I couldn't go into that at that point.
Yeah.
And as life went on, I lost track. And then once my son was going to be born back in 2016, that was when I finally was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Because it's been 8 years and I've missed all these figures, and I just want to have He-Man and Skeletor, and it just doesn't end there, does it? You know? And that was pretty much the biggest grail out of the entire line that I absolutely had to have. But like I said, I'll never ever. I'm never gonna live that one down. It's just that simple. Because I came in so late into that. I was hearing people go, "Oh, it was 150 on Matty Collector at one point." I'm like, do you want to see a grown man cry? You don't need to see this. Like,
Yeah.
I know what I paid, and I wish I could have paid that price.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gamer Bud, oh snap, Sean is here. Sorry, I've been staring at the classics Grayskull the whole time. How about, it's beautiful. How about you, Oz?
Well, I mean, I've talked about my troubles with collecting over the years and how it start collection and then it go away. I mean, with Power of the Force 2 in the 90s, I was like trying to get everything. And then later, I tried to refine that a little bit. So I was going more for like Jedi and Sith only. And of course, like then you started to see some more Mandalorian type figures, like they had ones from the comics. So I was like, okay, I kind of wanted to go those. But then even then, like that collection got kind of swept away in its own deal. So taking a break for many years, I was kind of done. And like for years it was just like something really had to catch my eye in order for me to get as far as like spending money on a toy.
Yeah.
I missed it. If I'd known about classics when it was coming out, I would have been done in again and been collecting classics from the start.
Yeah.
Okay. But I missed that wave. And like I would get some working at GameStop, we sold Todd McFarlane's Halo figures, and I was a huge Halo fan. I did dabble into NECA and Aliens, but it's like always very, very selective at what I wanted. Like I wasn't buying every Alien figure from NECA. It was really just like certain ones because I was trying to build a hive. Um, and that's just kind of how I was. I have a Diamond Selects Venom figure because I'm a huge Venom fan. Uh, but I never really started like being a completist again on anything. And then Origins hit.
Yeah.
And it's like all that rush of being a child again. It was like, I gotta have all these Origins figures. And I told myself from the start, you're just doing Origins. You're not gonna, when they announced Masterverse, I was like, you're not gonna get Masterverse. You're not gonna do that. And the CGI line came out, and I was just like, Not gonna do any of the CGI line. And then I was kind of like, well, honestly, Connor's really getting into this, and it'd be okay to get him the CGI toys. So you're not spending a whole lot still, and he's getting the kid-friendly versions, and you can feel happy because you are again still buying He-Man toys, and you're passing that love down, that passion of it to your son. And as far as like revising the collection, I revised and I said, well, you know what? The new Eternia is not bad. Most of the time, a revision is to keep
Yep.
you from
Yeah.
collecting
Yeah.
something or
Mhm.
collecting too much. But somehow Mattel keeps convincing me to revise my collection further.
This is what Gamer Bud said earlier. My revision has turned into getting more figures.
Right, right.
Ha.
Yeah, it's just how it goes sometimes. But I mean, it's true though. I don't
Cheryl, your
get.
sister calling you out here.
Yeah,
Use the kid as an
exactly.
excuse.
It's what she does. It's what she does. But no, I mean, I'm still stuck to my guns. I'm not trying to collect every Masterverse figure that comes out.
Yeah.
I'm really just going to try to stick to the new Eternia. There's so far two exceptions to this. That was that version 2 of Tila, where she looked more like the original, and then she came with that alternate head sculpt because I really like that.
Yeah.
The 40th anniversary He-Man, of course, naturally that was its own thing.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really just trying to keep myself to only going new Eternia with Masterverse because it is a bit more pricey. I say that, but I've already broken that rule again, so I don't even know why I'm really trying to put that on there. Um, Origins, it's all in.
Yeah.
I want to get as much as I can. I'm sad there are certain things that I've already missed, and I will not be trying to buy on the secondary market, just because again the price on a lot of it is way too high.
Yeah.
But um, with Origins, I feel that connection because it's like, I was so close to having it all as a kid, and then it all got taken away.
Yeah.
And now it's like I have a second chance.
Yeah.
That's what Origins is to me. But in
Mhm.
order to facilitate that, I'm gonna have to do some things. So there's a bunch of vintage toys that were donated to me, like some TMNT stuff and some Dick Tracy stuff. Nothing you need, Bobby.
I
It's
know.
all
I got.
you've already got all the good stuff. But being able to take some of these and you can take them to like a toy store or something, and a lot of times you can offer to trade them into them and then get something off of or trade with other toys within the collection.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to do that maybe for some of the Origins figures that I've missed out, uh, or have not received yet, or maybe if I find another new Eternia, um, that I don't have yet, like Jitsu or something along that line.
Yeah.
But really, just as your collection evolves, you do decide what parts of it you want to keep, what parts of it you want to let go,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got choices. You can either sell them off, give them away to somebody that would make them happy, or give them to somebody who's really interested in it, and you don't mind not making a profit and selling it to them at cost.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, Sean. um, yeah, there's just certain ways you go about handling it, but the way I think as toy collectors that we can help each other out is if we know somebody's looking to kind of revise their collection. If there's a way that you can help facilitate that, like, oh, I know a guy who's looking for such and such. If you're looking to get rid of it, let me put you in touch with him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That kind of thing. Or I know somebody who's looking to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Let me put you in touch with them because they might have something you're looking for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I know right now I'm actually on the hunt for a Scratch the Cat from the original TMNT line because somebody I know is looking for one of those, and he was one of the later figures in the series. Is very rare, but we got to help each other out with the revisions too. You know,
Yeah.
um, and then there's some collectors that just they they collect whatever they want, however they want, and they resell it, and then they regret it, and then they buy it back. And I'm sure quite a few people that watch the different toy streams can figure out who I'm talking about if they watch Toy Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've never seen somebody revise their collection so many times and then buy it all back again like 3 weeks later
Wow.
as Craig from Toy Anxiety. I love him though. I absolutely love him. He's
The
hilarious.
the
Yeah, that's one thing I never did was after I sold something, I never rebought it again. I was like, I sold it for a reason. It's gone now.
Right.
so that's the next question is do we sell or do we trade? Like what do you all prefer to do?
Well, I don't have anybody locally that I know. Yeah, I relocated, 13 years ago, and I really haven't gone out to the neighborhood to talk to anybody really about toy collecting or nothing like that. But I sold a bunch of stuff, I would say about 5 years ago. I just wanted to get rid of it. I just didn't want to keep adding on. Like I was saying about those wrestlers, I was like, because I used to be a completist. I'm like, I gotta go get this guy, get this guy, get this guy. I'm like, that's gonna cost me another $700. I'm like, I'm just gonna dump it and get rid of them. And I did that with a lot of collections because I was collecting everything. I was going crazy, and I was like, so now I'm just focused on Masters of the Universe, and like I said, Planet of the Apes, and that's it. But I got almost everything I need now for that, so it's all new stuff going forward. But yeah, I sold a good amount of stuff, and it was just over the years, new things are coming out because there was like a period of time when there wasn't a lot of good things coming out. And me being a collector, I'm like, I'm going to get into this. This will be new. I'm going to get everything in this new line. And then all of a sudden I got 20 lines sitting in the closet in a box, So
Right.
I just got to get rid of it. It's just taking up so much space. And now I filled it all up with Origins. I got it all in the closet. So I'll never dump it.
Say, Bobby, right now it's like a slideshow of freeze frames of you. It's pixelated, but it's like those. Do you all remember those educational slideshows with the audio?
I remember those.
You would see like a and
click. Oh, is my phone?
Yeah,
it's
like freezing up the visual, but your audio is perfect.
Right. Your audio has been spot on. But it's definitely like those work training PowerPoint slideshows where it's the voice is going and it's the same freeze frame for like ever.
Okay.
But it's great.
How about this? And then I'll sit like that for the rest of the show.
We just see you kind of smiling right now.
That's all right.
Oh, you can. I'm still not.
I'm
not moving.
The frozen smiling Bobby.
Sorry. All right, I'll
all right. Oh, you just moved again. So, what do you guys think about trading versus selling? What do you do?
I mean, it depends. Like, it really depends. What do you need more?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to get rid of some things to expand what you're currently collecting now, or do you need to get rid of some things because unexpected expenses pop up?
Right.
Because I mean, let's face it, that's one of the biggest killers of collecting, right? You got all this money going out towards this collection and it's great and everything's status quo for a while. And then boom, 2 of your tires blow out on your car.
Yep.
Now you got to pay like, $600, $700, $800 out to get the new tires for your car. And so what do you need to get rid of part of your collection for? Do you need to get, you got space danger so that you can expand what you're currently collecting? Do you get rid of something old that you're no longer collecting?
Right.
Or do you need the cash?
Right. So it's sort of like what comes your way any given moment or during any period of time of your life. Like you'll sort of see how you'll make the decision once you're there.
Yeah, I mean, at least for me, yes.
Yeah. How about you, Sean?
Well, this has been the year. Like I said, this year has been really challenging on personal levels because my wife had a job as a general manager for a hotel locally, and that job was grinding her down like crazy. She's been working there ever since she moved to Pennsylvania with me in 2011, and COVID just basically made it a nightmare because she had such a skeleton crew there. She was working all these crazy hours. I'm here with the kids just trying to keep up with what's happening today. What's your schedule? And then finally, I just said to her, just quit. We'll figure it out. Just quit. And I have good work coming in as a contract employee. We can make our bills. It won't be easy, but
Right.
we'll make our bills until she gets something else up and running. So she's been doing courses and stuff trying to make that happen. But here we are in November now, and she hasn't had anything since April. And I'm not blaming her, but it's like I didn't think it would take that long. But here we are. It took that long. And along the way, here we have Mondo Battle Cat, Deluxe He-Man, Mythic Legions, all this other stuff hitting. And I'm just sitting there going, all right, what do I got to sell to make this happen in my life? Because I don't want to lose the window when these things happen, or else I'm having to do what I did with classics where, okay, something that was 20, 30 bucks when it was offered now is $100 to get it on eBay X amount of years later. So this year, for not only bills but also for my collection, it's been I'm going to get rid of things because the things that I want now need to be brought in.
Yeah.
And so like I was selling classics. I had the main figures of the Horde up until last year, and I ended up selling off everybody except for Hordak, because Hordak is always one of those. I was like having him around, but the other Horde members to me, while I know for some people are iconic, I was like, I can get rid of those because Hordak is the prevalent one in most of the literature and the stories that you see for the most part. I've flipped Mythic Legions. I've traded stuff, and that's the other thing too. Coming at it from that perspective is depending the community that you're in online, you might end up having more people that want to trade with you and help you with your stuff because you're helping them. Yeah. Compared to you need to just, okay, I'm going to just sell this just because I need to get the money to do this.
Yeah.
And in the Mythic Legions community that I've been in now for like a year and a half or so, if you even post, hey, I'm looking for this, there could be somebody that just reaches out to you and go, what's your address? And you're like, well, how much do you want for it? And they're like, what's your address? I'll send it to you. I've had it on my shelf. It's just there. I would rather have it go to somebody that appreciates it. And it like you get these things and it's like you kind of have like tears in your eyes going, somebody was nice enough to go, I'm not going to rake you over the coals for this.
It's mind-blowing.
It happened to me too a few years back real quick. This was one of my like best moments ever when it came to like low points of my life. I'd just gotten fired from a job, and I saw a guy that he was selling classics Panther. And I was really wanting Panther in my collection. I had a little bit of money left. I was trying to figure out how to make something work. And I reached out to him, and he also had Too Bad from Classics. And I go, I want both of these, but I'm going to get Panther. I'm going to be good. I have enough that I can do that without, breaking the bank here or whatever. And he was back and forth with me for a bit, sends me out Panther. And he goes, by the way, there's a little surprise inside. Box and everything. So I open up the box and I take it out and all that. Open up the box, and on the inside there's Too Bad.
Oh,
and he just goes, so cool. Us Motu fans need to stick together. Enjoy. I hope this makes you happy. He knew I was going through some stuff, and I actually kind of cried a little bit because I'm like, that was something awesome, something that someone did for me. Doesn't even know me. He didn't have to do it, but he did, and it meant the world to me that day. That it's like, wow, that was just, it's like I got to win, in that way. So
it's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. That's one of the things that really blows me away about this community is how there is a genuine give and take. I know there are some crappy people out there that might just take, but I feel like there is a respect that people have for each other, and they either trade or they give, and it's awesome. Yeah, that's a great story. I love that. I feel like I've been enjoying trades lately. It's fun. It's fun to look for other people. It's fun to also see what you can get for stuff that you had. Like I've gone to the Vault a few times, which is this store that I've featured on my channel, and it's fun to see what I can get when I just take stuff in there. And that too is kind of like when you find a good store, there is kind of a leeway. It's like, all right, we'll take these figures here, and we'll give you this, and you can say, well, can you give me this? And there's a friendly exchange as opposed to a tug of war, right? And that's awesome. And so that's good to hear. I want to go back and look at the chat real quick here, because John said something interesting. John Westby said something interesting a little while back. I stopped collecting toys for a little over 20 years and concentrated on video games and comic books. And 2 years ago, when DC Primal Age came out, that started my toy collecting again. It's interesting, John, that you say that, because Primal Age, when that came out, I was like, why aren't there vintage style Masters of the Universe figures? Like, it really got my, it really did sort of spark something for me. So it's good to see that you saw that too. But any of you guys take a long break from toy collecting? I'm sure you did. I mean,
yeah, several.
Several long breaks for me too.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, when I moved to Arizona in 2009, I didn't collect for a few years, and then I collected for a few years. Then I took a couple of years. Then Origin started up again, so that got me. So I go through a period of time where I relax and don't get nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like you were talking about trading, I used to trade a lot in the late 90s online before like eBay and all that. I trade Star Wars toys and stuff like that. So that was pretty good. A lot of honest. That was hard, but it was, most of the time it was pretty honest. I got everything that I shipped out, or they shipped to me, and I shipped out to them at the same time. Sometimes they waited till they got mine, and then I shipped it, and they said, well, must have been late or something. Like, okay. Mm-hmm. But I still got the item, 3 weeks later, like the guy kept telling me, oh, it's out. And then I finally got it. They're probably waiting to make sure I was honest to them first. But yeah.
Sin City Cindy jumped in a little while ago. Hey, Oz, Skelly, and Blushing Bobby. There it is again, Bobby, I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Sorry, we're gonna have to hit the kibosh button on the Blushing Bobby, folks. But it might stick, and it might be awesome down the line. We'll see. But I know how you feel about it. So.
No, I'm okay with it. It's just like Vintage Motu, the name. I use that to get people to follow me, so they knew that my accounts were all about Masters of the Universe. Now that name's stuck with me, so I'll always be remembered as Vintage Motu now. And I know Joe Amato hates it. He calls me a Vintage He-Man guy.
He doesn't call you Vintage Masters of the Universe?
No, and he calls me up. Hey, what's up, Vintage Master guy? I'm like, okay.
No, if you had a T-shirt that had the Motorhead font and it said "Blushing Bobby," then that would be metal. That would be metal.
I'll get that printed up and I'll sell them.
There you go.
Well,
yeah.
Now I know my weekend project.
There you go. Instead of the pig face, I'll have my face on there with big blushing cheeks.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
There you
go.
So
you've always got to think.
I just thought about. Let's see, GamerBud. I won an Origins figure yesterday and I gave it away. Oh yeah, that was awesome. By the way, on Ray's channel on Collecting Classics. Very cool. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If we win something. How do we pay it forward in different ways? And so it's good that you have that mindset, GamerBud.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. I mean, just phenomenal to do something like that. That's great. Especially in the me generation now, everybody wants everything for themselves. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. It is. We are sort of steeped in that kind of culture right now, to take. But I just haven't really found a lot of that in this particular community and surrounding communities, satellite communities that we are in. It's interesting, right? That's happening everywhere else, but not here for some reason. Knock on wood.
We all had this. this sort of passion, and we want to see everybody succeed in it.
Yes.
We're not
Yep.
just looking out for ourselves. Like, again, Scale Vader, you just did a whole unboxing video for stuff that I've kept my eye on that you were looking for.
Yeah,
And it's not just you. We got a group chat with Mega J, and he'll post stuff.
that's right.
And if I find something that he's looking for, or Ray from Collecting Classics, this is something that he posts
Yeah,
or that he's looking for, I try to keep an eye out for it. I mean, it's just how we all are.
yeah,
We all want to see each other's collections grow. We want Mattel to keep putting out these toys that we all love so much. And the best way to do that is to keep them going, keep it moving, keep the shelves. I hate to say as empty as possible, considering there always seem to be bare or they're loaded with the same stuff that you've already bought.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's one of those things where if the product keeps moving, if the dollar bills keep rolling in, they're more inclined to keep it going. And we're going to keep seeing things like, well, let's take a chance with Eternia, or, hey, we've got Snake Mountain coming in, another year. I gotta say, I was a little worried we wouldn't get that far, because when Castle Grayskull came out, I've talked about my troubles here, how
yeah,
there was only ever 3 available at one Target in the area, and every other store said they either did not carry it, or that it was not in stock ever. And then I'm seeing pictures of them stacked pallet after pallet after pallet in, like, from what I've seen, most of the images were like from Canada, and they were
mhm,
going on clearance. And it's like, again, when something's going on clearance, a lot of times that's not a good sign.
yeah.
So I never thought we were going to see another play set for this line. I really didn't. And then we had the news drop that they were crowdfunding Eternia, and then
Yeah.
a couple weeks later, we're like, "Hey, yeah, by the way, we're doing Snake Mountain too for you guys, and we're doing revisions, and we're putting more tooling into it."
Yeah.
That's not a sign of something slowing down or stopping. That's a sign of increasing what they're putting out, and I think they've proven that time and time again with this line, that they're not trying to slow down. They're only trying to add more. We got Rulers of the Sun into it now. So by helping each other out, we're keeping this thing alive by talking about it. I mean, you've got representations from 3 different shows on one stream right now. We've got Toy Frenzy here, and Sean, Legends of Grayskull podcast, and Bobby and I, we've got another project going on, Powers of Eternia, that's going to be airing in just a little over a week. We're all keeping Motu alive, letting them know that we still want this stuff, and that's great. And yeah, as Damon says it right here, champion each other. And that's how it is. Lift each other up, help each other out. I thought it was so cool when GamerBud said, "You know what? I won this thing. I don't ever win things, and I gave it away to somebody who doesn't have as much."
But Thanos Copter said Motu was big on morality, and it's funny, yeah. We got that from the Filmation cartoon, and maybe some of us made fun of it when we were kids, but
Don't make fun of
I
Filmation.
I think that there's always someone who is like, that's ridiculous, And I even felt it was ridiculous for a while when I was a teenager. Those morals at the end, but it seeps in, and if you let it seep in, it seeps
Right.
in. Yeah.
And not to
Yeah.
sound like an old guy here, but has anybody else noticed that once they started taking these little morals out of cartoons, how the younger generation kind of acts a little bit?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just, I'm just noticing a little bit.
Well, who's the parents of the younger generation?
I
The people
agree.
who watched those.
I agree. I agree.
We've turned
Hey.
into the parents that thought Masters of the Universe was scary and satanic.
Yeah.
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 So we got a new person here, Cora Buellert. I
Yes.
still bought the occasional figure that caught my eye, but Origins brought me back to toy collecting big time after some 20 years away. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's cool. She's from Germany, I believe. She follows me on Twitter and stuff. She's great.
Welcome, Cora. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
Cora from Germany. I love it. Look at that.
Yep.
We're a global presence. We've got fans in New Zealand and Australia and Germany. Like, we're just touching all across the globe with the show. And how awesome is that your voice is heard worldwide?
That's right.
That's
Great.
incredible.
Toy Frenzy, touching the globe.
We got consent.
Yeah, the next thing, show us on the globe where they touched you. All right.
Gamerbud bringing some truth here. I want to ride that moral high, but I can't deny that had it been something like Origins Grizzlore, I don't know if I would have given it away. Yeah, we have our limits, I suppose.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, definitely. But always just being readily available to help out another collector in need or another collector who is not as fortunate. If it had not been for the generosity of my friends, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I just started back to work again full time in the last month.
Yeah.
So for the 2 years that Origin's been in stores, I've been working. I've solely collected the majority of what you see behind me through the generosity of friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for
Nice.
people who care about me and enjoy just seeing that excitement on my face as I've been getting these, I would not have the collection that I have now, and I'd be chasing $100 almost Origins figures and such. And that's just how you pay it forward by repeating that kindness, and helping others. I gotta say, one of the best feelings I've had in a long while was uh, watching you last week, Skelly, opening up this giant box of stuff that I've been accumulating to send out to you. And it was great seeing you open this and enjoy each part of that. And I hope to continue to be able to do that for other people as well.
It's a real joy. I'm collecting some things to send your way too in response, and that's fun. You have that back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't get nothing.
Bobby, I'm trying. I've even asked you questions. Do you need this? Do you need this?
I have enough crap. I don't need nothing from anybody.
We just want
I'm
what
just
you
teasing.
have. That's the problem.
Right.
No, because every week you guys say that you trade back and forth, and I'm sitting there. Yeah. I'm just joking.
Hey, you
it's
let
great.
me know what you're looking for. I keep my eyes open. That's how it works. But if you don't tell me what you need,
Yeah.
I can't help you. Right now, I know to be out
I'm
there
just on the
looking
hunt for my next. I'm just on to my next meal.
There you go.
That's all I care about.
All right, I'm sending you a burrito. Okay, there we go. Got it.
I can't eat that. No burritos.
All right, no burritos. See how that works.
You wouldn't even like a Maryland burrito. You're
No
in
burritos.
Arizona.
Yeah, I know. I'm not big on Mexican food. I like fajitas and I like tacos, but I'm not a burrito.
All right. No burritos for Bobby.
No burritos.
That's on the back of Blushing Bobby. It said on the back of
no burritos. Giant burrito
No
with
burritos.
a slash through it.
See that you guys are gonna start all that crap, and now it's gonna be all over the damn chat.
That's love, man.
Just drink water out of my peanuts cup. That's all I care about.
The chat is loving this too. Oh, here we go. Giraffe. Here's LOL. Sharing burrito equals true love. That's right.
That's right. I mean, getting any bigger
More
guy
power
to
to you.
share food, period, must be love. So.
Oh, sorry. Now the chat's getting angry. Thanos Copter.
Calm down, everybody. Calm down. If he doesn't like burritos, that's okay. That's more for everybody else. Don't get mad. Just give him tacos.
That's right. I eat a lot of fish.
Hey, don't apologize for that. Fish is awesome. Bless your burrito, Bobby.
There we go. See,
well, see, also we're a sensitive group too. So GamerBud's also sorry for starting this. So
he is. He apologized.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, I'm not an egoist.
That's right.
I got that punk rock attitude.
You know you can handle it. You know you can handle it.
Well,
I can handle it.
Here's the deal, though.
Bring it on.
Bobby doesn't realize he's already told me what he's looking for. I just have to find it to facilitate it now.
Shit.
Oh man, don't.
That's how it works.
That's how it is.
Nope. Return to
Well,
sender.
I have while we were
You
talking,
wouldn't.
while we were
No.
talking, I came up with an idea for maybe a final question for revising our collections,
Sure.
and it's sort of a pipe dream question. If you could create your ultimate toy room, what would it be? What would it look like? And
Wow.
what would you have in there? Because if we could
Yes,
revise our
yeah.
collection in a way that was not limited by budget, and we could have the things that we really want to have, that might this room might stop you from collecting. It would be so good.
What about Space
You-
Danger's not a thing? This is like an infinite room.
You want the
Oh, wait a minute! I didn't even think about that. No. There has to be a limit. There has to be 4 walls, or at least there has to be walls. And
See, what I do is sometimes I'll go out and we'll look for our retirement home, just to see the areas. And in my mind is like, what rooms, plural, am I going to be able to use for toys? Because I mean, I got my bookshelves and stuff, and I got, shelves in my closet that I put my stuff, but I don't have like that awesome where you got the glass, shelving and all that stuff. Everybody's got a whole basement full of stuff that's like awesome. I don't have that.
I don't see any detail behind any of us here.
Nope.
Yeah, and it'd be cool to showcase all my vintage toys and things like that. And I do, but it's not fancy looking. So in my mind, I if I end up moving somewhere, I have to have a nice big room for that. But I would like something like that. I don't have a basement because I'm in Arizona. You can't even dig in the dirt out here. But it's I would love to have a nice showcased room like that, where you can actually have like things in the middle where you can walk around, look at stuff like that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, like big table displays, not just shelves on a wall, but table displays, so you can see, like, typically when you display a Castle Grayskull, something we can all relate to, you either get the inside or you get the front side.
Yeah.
You're not getting the
mine's
whole
right there. It
experience.
just sits on top.
So which side do you display? But if you had a table in the middle of the room, you could see all of it. And that's kind of like the idea. So I'm thinking, if I'm talking about Ultimate Collection, massive, huge, finished basement. Okay. Some inset shelvings in the wall, some open space in the middle where some cool kids might keep a pool table. No. I've got giant display glass cases like what you see at a showroom floor, full of course, Motu, some real Ghostbusters. Gotta have some Jurassic Park in there because I love dinosaurs. Let's not pretend like that's not a thing. Definitely some Predator and Alien stuff because I've already showed off some of that before in other videos. I love Alien, love Predator, but I mean, there's really with something like that. Of course, Star Wars. I've wanted to build a huge Jabba's Palace diorama for ages myself too. So, I mean, there's just too many to really count and figure out. Like Space Danger would really have to not be an option for me to have an ultimate collection because there's just so much.
Yeah. That's cool. How about you, Sean?
I think the finished basement aspect would definitely be huge for me. And I like the recessed shelving idea and all that. I want recessed lighting and all that. But for me, it's like the weird thing is because I'm the crazy person who, when everything goes, you shouldn't be buying this. You should be doing other things with your money. I'm the one that does the opposite because I'm getting into that. I want to do something that makes me happy inside too, or else, what's the point some days, that I almost want to do it where I'm displaying them almost as trophies, or in a way where it's, these are wins I've had throughout some of the harder times that I've had at the same time. So I'd want to display them in a way where it really matters, that I could show off. I don't need them to be tagged or anything, but just, like here's my wings. And I kind of look at my collection as that, to be honest, is, I managed to pull this off, even though the funds might have been limited, but I did it, and
Yeah.
so in that way, like, it would be cool to have some details, but I don't want to offend anybody, but I almost feel like detoffs are like kind of snobby to me now, because I've been just roughing it with this, and I'm completely happy with this at the same time. Because detoff, it's like you have to really love things to love the detoff, but then I'm like, yeah, that's coming from the guy who said I got Mondo stuff coming to me now, so I guess I got to grow out of that mentality.
You're gonna need some detoffs for them.
Yeah.
And at least
my wife actually said that too. She's like, I'd love to get you some of those, because then you could display it nicely. And, it won't be like, oh, it's a yard sale in the basement. It'll be like, oh, here's some nice ways to display. And at least having like some nice lighting, some LED lighting, so that I can display them in a way where I can shut off all the lights, but all of the shelves will still be illuminated. And it almost feel like Tony Stark looking at all the armors of Iron Man in his basement. Only it's all of my figures that have meant a lot to me over the years or whatever.
What is my LED lighting not nice enough for you here, Sean? I mean, the rig job that I did. If you watched,
to be honest, the screen is so tiny on my phone that I know there's a light behind you, but I can't see anything with how it's set up right now. But hey, I am not going to bash you, because as far as I'm concerned, any way that you can do something where it's not just here's a junk heap of stuff in the area that I live, and you're able to put it up in any way, shape, or form where it can be displayed, you're winning as far as I'm concerned. I don't have any LEDs back here. It's just bookshelves, and I got to turn on all the blinding lights. So
now you can see it a little bit better.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you've watched a couple videos back too, you would have seen when I originally set it up how it was just falling down. Like as the stream was going on, the lights kept falling down.
Oh God, everybody's trying to get away from me.
Well, part of me is like not really into the detoffs thing, because I like to. I'm sort of responding to Damon's comment. Detour equals no dust, though, right? I think he's saying, well, if you don't have the detoffs, then you're dusting all the time. I think that's what he's saying. But I kind of like I like to go in every 2-3 months and reorganize everything. I like to take figures off the shelf, hastily to go out and take toy photos, and I like the accessibility of open shelves. I like that you can get in, you can like peer into the space where the toys are, and sort of feel that sort of three-dimensionality rather than just looking at them through the window. I respect it, and I'm definitely wanting to do something like that for my vintage figures at some point. But for the newer stuff, I don't know. I don't really know if like maybe I'm saying that, but I still want to reach back and grab my vintage. I'm not gonna knock it over. Vintage figures right there. So maybe I won't ever go there. So I understand the pros and cons of detoffs. I think for me, like if I had an ideal space where I could have my toys, there's this thing, maybe you all know about it, but there's this thing that was created as a modular home in the 50s called the Futuro home. And it looks like a flying saucer. There's only like 60 of them in existence. But I heard a rumor that someone was making them. Of course, they're going to be really, really expensive. But if you ever look up Futuro, Futuro home online, you'll see it. It looks like a flying saucer. It has a little door like the Millennium Falcon that comes down. You can climb up the stairs, and inside it's just this open space. And that's what I want in the backyard, where I can put the toys and go in there and hang out with them. So that would be a destination.
Right. So what you're telling me is you want to put all your toys in a UFO.
That's right.
This has that sounds so abstract and sci-fi in the most amazing way. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, like,
Out of any collector that I can imagine, Skelly makes the most sense to say that his perfect version. And I'm like, yeah,
I love
until he said it, I couldn't think of the best version for him. That makes complete sense. I mean,
right.
he's just got that kind of a flair about him where it's like, you know, he loves taking the toy photography, and it takes you out of the regular world. It takes you out of your troubles and stuff. Why not put it on a UFO and say, hey, the ultimate at taking it away from the regular world and getting away from my trouble.
That's
Also,
right.
there's part of this too. It'd make my wife very happy to not have like the toy collection inside the house.
Exactly.
So it's like, that's
Wow.
okay, honey. I'll just be in the spaceship in the backyard. But
You're the smartest one out of all of us just for saying that.
That's right. He's completely
Yeah.
removed the
Right.
collection from
Exactly.
the house.
You
Making-
can't say anything. Exactly.
I'm gonna look it up real quick and try and get an image and share it. The future.
That's amazing.
The rest of us are all suckers trying to put the confines within the home, knowing you kind of have to have the partner's approval of this is your designated space for your collection kind of thing. And Skelly's just like, I want some whole modular home separate from the house that, you know what, I'm just gonna be like, hey, I'm going up to outer space now with my toys. I'll see you later.
The other day
It's
when
fabulous.
Powerball at 1.9 billion or whatever it was,
Oh,
Yeah.
like if I had that kind of money at my disposal, my version would probably be something along the lines of like Tony Stark's house.
Right.
That would be where the collection is, and that's just the collection house, you know. Just and then have everything
It's
run
not
on
the family home.
You know?
I mean, if we're going that far, I'm just gonna go buy one of the Smithsonian buildings,
There you
and we're gonna start moving the collection in. And they've got those. Everything's gonna be in dioramas. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get Hollywood Haunt because I want this huge Castle Grayskull. He's gonna come help me build it.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely.
You heard it here. I'm moving down to DC into the Smithsonian.
Nice.
They get no
Nice.
say. It's just gonna happen.
Also,
Ben Stiller told me I could. I've seen those.
Guillermo del Toro has a whole house dedicated to his collection. It's called Bleak House. And imagine being able to afford to buy just an entire house for your collection.
I mean, yeah, if I had Guillermo del Toro money, I would be.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have the opposite feeling though too, where it's like I want to just shrink to what is the best I have. You know, like I just want to have just my vintage Masters of the Universe. I'll get rid of everything. Well, I can't get rid of Planet of the Apes. See, that happens. I mean, you start thinking, well, I can't get rid of that. But
Right.
that I could go the opposite way and just have this is it, and just have a small dedicated room just for that one line, and I could be happy as well.
For sure.
Sure.
You know,
I keep.
I don't like to be greedy, you know, but I can if I wanted to. But I don't like trying. I try not to, you know.
Bobby, pretend like you don't want this UFO for your collection. Look at that.
Oh man, I'd be in that.
So
I would actually have. I'd paint it up like the McDonald's.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes, thank you, Bobby, for saying that. This is some. I mean, you could see like maybe a Officer Big Mac, climbable sculpture in the back next to it or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is good. This meets sort of Bobby's parameters too. Like it's a concentrated space for a collection, so you're not filling an entire house with this stuff. And you don't have this collection that has no limit. It's this limited like destination. But
I see those little like
That to me-
porthole windows, and all I can think of is mooning people out of them.
right,
Like, I'm right
See,
back.
I think
to
the opposite.
1989.
Because I live in. Yeah, because I'm in Arizona. I just think, boy, is that going to get hot?
right? Totally,
You know,
totally.
That's Bobby's pizza oven.
yeah, that's cool. I've never seen that. Yeah, right. It's my new smoker.
You feeling Chicago?
First
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
in my head was the
Eastman
Jets
burgers.
song. Looking at
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyways, I literally, thanks to this conversation, it's funny because I had just seen a video on the Futuro home like a week and a half ago, and hadn't even occurred to me that would be the ideal like toy unit. And this conversation helped me get there. So thanks, guys.
I want to buy like
Yeah,
3
no
of
problem.
those things and do like a spiral staircase down the middle of them. Like,
oh, see, you're harder. I was thinking of adjoining them, but out instead of
with, like,
up. That up, it makes a heck of a lot more
Yeah.
sense because you're not wasting the amount of space that way.
I don't know though. I'm kind of liking the
Yeah, you did-
idea of putting them around and then having tubes. Like,
That's what I was thinking. It'd be almost like a undersea, like an ocean station for toys. You can go, well, if you go down this tube, you're in Motu. If you go down this tube, you're in Star Wars. You go down this tube, well, and just have a blast doing it. But you need all of that
Yeah,
area.
you
But if you go up, you can do it almost, like 4 or 5 at least.
Yeah.
if you go up,
arrange them
gotta
like the Olympic rings.
there you go.
Lab. Yeah, totally.
Olympic rings. I like that.
Yeah, that would work too.
Well, if we do this show long enough and one of us wins the lottery, then maybe we can create a Toy Frenzy destination toy museum in Futuro homes.
Here you go, guys. You heard it. If you sign up for the Patreons, we're buying 5 or 6 Futura homes.
That's right.
I'm gonna talk to some people with some 3D printers. We'll start building.
I'm going to add a 4th tier, and that's going to be Futuro home tier with a certain minimum that I'm not going to say on the air.
A couple of extra zeros on that.
Yeah.
$11 billion.
Yes. Damon says Legion of Doom vibes, definitely.
Yeah,
right. Yes.
That's the other thing I was thinking. I couldn't remember. I was like, what else is that making me think of? It was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Especially with the kind of blue it is. I mean, I know it's not as dark, but yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. You can make like a circle at the top, like the Legion of Doom. Leave it like that around the sides, and then just have it taper out like Vader's helmet. At the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, that would
you paint a skull on the front, put a Vader helmet on it. It's the Skelevator spaceship.
And it has to be yellow and purple.
That's right. That's right. Oh yeah, and Giraffe says Black Manta's helmet there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, any other thoughts about how we can revise our collection? Or how about this? Any goals? I know we kind of inserted goals into our discussion, but any particular goals, like almost like New Year's resolution you all want to make with revising your collections?
I want to get better shelves.
Yeah, better shelves. It's a good goal. It's a good goal.
I'd probably have to wait until I get a better space, but yeah, it's the eventual idea. Something better for display.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go all bougie and get some Detolfs.
Whatever works, right? Every collector's different.
Right.
Sean and Bobby, how about you guys?
Okay, well, I've been doing this past 2 years. I've been focused just on Masters of the Universe Origins. I was getting some Masterverse. I was going to say I was going to get the new Eternias, but I stopped getting those as well. I'm just going to go all Origins, and if they do come out with any more Amigo Planet of the Apes, I'll get those as well. But I'm just going to focus just on that and go forward with that. I can't get any. I don't want to get anything else. I knew new stuff's going to come, and like I was going to make this point earlier. When you're collecting and you see a new line come out, you get excited about it. But how much do you want to invest? Because like we were talking about, it might get canceled. So if you get to a certain point and then they don't come out with certain characters, do you get upset or what?
Right.
So but I think Origins is going to go
Yeah.
pretty far. And I don't think I mean, they're already expanding to all those other characters as well. So I'm just going to stick with that and be more focused on what I buy from now on. I'm getting older as well, so I don't want to have thousands of different lines everywhere. Like, I would like to get the Mythic Legions and stuff like that, but I can't. In my head, I can't. So, but I am going to get that Mondo Trapjaw. That's one of my big goals.
Good
Is
one.
that
There you
one.
go.
That's a good
Yeah.
goal. How about you, Sean?
Yeah.
My main goal, I would say, is let's see. Even though I wasn't the first to say it, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still in that whole. I just want to try to get what represents what I love in the best way as much as possible. So yeah, if Mondo does release the deluxe Skeletor, Panther, crossing my fingers, the money aligns to make that happen. But I mean, yeah, for me, it's a little more like I've had this space in my basement since we bought our house, and I kind of want to get it more situated than what I've done.
Yeah.
And I'm chance coming up here pretty soon, so I want to kind of make it a little more like I want to show it off versus it's there, and it's there,
Mhm.
the end
Right.
of the day, it's like I enjoy coming down here, but it would be really cool to come down here and put the time into making it display better or differently or whatever. So, and for me, like Mythic Legions, that's the one that I'm focused the most on, with Mondo being there, because yeah, like I'm still such a sucker for classics. I just can't help it. So, and since that line's over, it makes it easier on the wallet to do the other ones that I'm enjoying. So yeah.
That's good. I like that you have a space that you can work on, that you feel like you want to work on it to make it a place that might feel more welcoming for people to come down and have a look. It's cool you have a basement to do that in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we first bought the house, there were like over here, the shelves, those were already part of the house when we bought it.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up buying the bookshelves since then and stuff. And the minute I saw those, my wife's like, "Don't even think about it." I go, "Oh, you know what's going on those shelves? You know that." And it just, by the fact that I would just come down here at nighttime and just start messing around, it just became this. And
Yeah.
she just threw her hands up and she's like, "Okay, fine. At least they're not on the floor or whatever."
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's funny when you mentioned earlier, like, it doesn't look like a yard sale kind of thing. I just pictured you had a bunch of blankets on the floor with all your figures across it.
Honestly, if I flip the phone around, you'd probably be like, "Oh my God." I mean, there's boxes and all kinds of crazy. I gotta get it all sorted out this month pretty much. So my
Yeah.
week will be cleaning the basement out so that it's more presentable no matter what I do. So, and that's a good thing. That's a good project.
Yeah.
It'll make me actually probably see more stuff that I'm like, I could probably part with this and either trade or sell or whatever. Hey, one quick thing that amused me, we were talking about the trading and selling in like the local toy stores and stuff. And typically there's like a farmer's market about 20 minutes from my house where typically I'll bring stuff in and you'll usually leave with cash in hand, no problem. And recently I ended up selling the Ultimate He-Man, the original one that Super 7 did, that was part of the 5. It was He-Man, Skeletor, Faker, Teela, and Ram Man. And I sold that one to help out with some bills. And now I'm like, well, maybe I'll just sell the other ones off, because once one goes, the dominoes can go a little faster. So I reached out to him and I'm like, "Hey, I got these. I know you sell them from time to time. Would you be interested?" And we were kicking around numbers and stuff. And over the weekend, he goes, "Yeah, I can't afford that." And I'm like, "I finally found the one thing that you will not take from me." And I'm like, I finally did it after about 2 to 3 years of going to this guy. I found the one thing where he's like, "It's too rich for my blood to get it from you." I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's fine."
Those are worth a pretty penny, so I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So
You just got to tell them to buy you an Eternia. Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder if that would work, actually.
I guess it's too late now, though, sadly.
Yeah,
The deal was off after Saturday, but no, it was funny though, because typically he'll buy everything, and when I finally got to that point, I'm like, I found the one thing.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny. I think like I'm getting closer, and I'll show pictures soon, but I'm getting closer to having the little toy room all set up, and I'm excited about that. I'm kind of in the same headspace as Sean and Bobby here, like focusing on key key items. Of course, I'm committed to Origins for a variety of reasons. It's affordable, and I get to have the experience. It is definitely, like Oz said, it has everything to do with like having that nostalgic feeling. But I'd like to reduce the noise. I'd like to like if and what I mean by that is if I have like core vintage stuff, and then I just stick to that, like vintage Star Wars and vintage Masters of the Universe. Those, if I could just like hone my collection to those two things, plus Origins. Sorry, I'm gonna add some pluses here. Plus Origins, and plus I can never resist particular weirdos. I cannot resist particular weirdos, and what I mean by that is the occasional Frankenstein, or the occasional cereal monster, or the occasional Battlestar Galactica figure, or the occasional whatever black hole. Thank you, Bobby. Or Kiss Migos, or whatever. Like those weirdos that will always be there, but they'll be mixed in. But yeah. I'm really happy with calming down. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now, calming down with buying and just trying to focus on, keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak. Have a room where you go in, you're like, okay, this person likes Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, and weirdos, and in the Futuro home, by the way. In the Futuro home in the
right.
Yeah. Damon comment, Maximilian from Black Hole, epic. Yes, absolutely. So that's on my list, by the way. You know how I mentioned this is like I went over my monthly budget with this guy, just a few dollars, so I'm stuck. But that's definitely first thing on my list for December, and I'm gonna just put it in my own stocking. Maximilian.
He flies around.
Yeah, there he is. He's and he kind of looks a little phallic right now, but the freeze frame.
If that's in your mind, okay.
There it is. Yeah, so let's wait for it to shift so we can get like oh, it's already gone. Now we just got to the glass of water.
Oh, is my camera still screwing up
this
today?
Show.
Oh man, I apologize for that. I feel like
no, don't feel bad.
No. Do not feel bad for that. It happens, man. This is a live stream, so it's not always gonna be perfect. I mean, God, I had that one stream when I did the virtual background a while back. That thing was terrible, but the show must go on no matter what.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now,
because I could see myself move the whole time. So I never, I didn't even realize that I was glitching. I apologize.
No apologies necessary. Yeah, so that Maximilian, oh, wait a second. Oh, he's got
the original. The minute you showed that one off, I was like,
oh man. See, those
I got all of them from when I was a kid still.
Oh.
Yeah, me too. Yep, they're awesome.
You guys are so lucky. Like those are the kind of weirdos I would like to add in, fold into the collection.
Mm-hmm.
Those are beautiful. Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Yeah,
I love the Remco ones.
Damon says, "No apologies, man. Technology, motherboard has cursed you. It's just the way of things. The way of things. You're working. You're smooth now."
I was going to say, and the funny thing is now he's fine.
Yeah, when we get to the end, right?
So, Bobby, now that Sean has the Remco figures up, can you bring Maximilian back up so we can have a look at that beautiful thing again?
Yeah, the phallic thing he said.
Not the phallic side, not the side, not the phallus. Just there we go. No. Yeah, that's beautiful. God, that's amazing.
He does come with a separate head too. where you could see the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And similar to the Remco, the small Remco figures, I'd really like to get the small. We talked about this already, Bobby, with the small Maximilian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Good stuff, people. Good stuff. So what else? Any final thoughts before we tie things up here?
Hopefully I don't have a problem next week with the glitching of the screen.
Well, it worked out great. You're smooth sailing now, so we're in good shape.
That's right. I'd
Well,
just like to say, you revise your collection so that it makes sense for you.
yes.
Yep.
Collect what you want to collect what makes you happy. That's the most important thing. And if
Mhm.
you ever look at your collection and there's something that's maybe not bringing you joy anymore,
Yeah.
it's okay to let it go.
Yeah.
Because you will find something that's going to replace that. So don't end up getting caught up like I can't get rid of this or I can't get rid of that. The collection tends to evolve. When you curate a collection, you evolve it, and it's going to grow with you as you grow as a person. You're going to incorporate different things.
That's right. So eclectic is good. It can be good as long as it's over time you're honing this thing. It's like honing a craft.
Right.
And you can, if you collect Hummel figurines and if any of you know what I'm talking about, they're like creepy little
Little wooden German
yeah.
boy and girl statues. I'm
Are
very
they
familiar with
ceramic or
Hummel.
wooden? Are they
Wooden.
ceramic or wooden? They're wooden.
A lot of times they're wooden.
So like those types of collections, it's intended to be honed. It's honed already. Like you have particular characters that you want to have for that particular line, just like Origins. But if you have interests all over the place, like just figure out what to keep and what to get rid of, and as Oz said, make it yours. Make it yours. Sean, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, it amuses me how much we have right now. Like no matter what line you grew up with, there's a chance that there's something out there right now that you can get that is going to give you that nostalgia, whether it's Transformers. I mean, heck, the fact that they went to the Remco packaging on those gorgeous NECA Universal Monsters. When I went into Target not too long ago and I saw they had the Frankenstein one up, I just stood there smiling from ear to ear because I remember buying them when I was really little.
Yeah.
And, it's like that for me is if it hits something that makes me feel like, hey, this was what was fun. It's okay to enjoy what was fun and leave your troubles outside the door for an hour or so.
Yeah.
That to me is worth the money and putting into something typically. So it's a blessing and a curse that we have so much stuff right now, but I'd rather have the way we have it now and worry about it later. It's like the whole like God sort them out kind of a feeling. It's I love all this stuff and I'll figure out how to make something work here, but just the knowing that it's out there is just amazing.
Yeah, I agree, and it can be overwhelming too. And so, I mean, we don't want to walk into our toy room and have it be a burden. So people who overbuy, I worry about them sometimes. They buy everything because they feel like it's going to be something. It's going to be either worth something or they feel like they have to have it. But if you end up walking into that room and it doesn't give you joy anymore, then you got to make a change, right?
Yep.
And it's true. And I've dealt with this. You have that moment where you see the Remco style monsters on the shelf, and then you have that moment of joy, but then you have the next moment, which I believe is important, which you get up close to it and you try to figure out if this is something you genuinely want to take home with you.
Absolutely.
Because those are two separate feelings, I believe. The joy of walking down a toy aisle and seeing and having that resurgence of nostalgia,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second feeling, which is like either, oh, I'm okay with not having it, or I definitely need to take that home.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
and it's hard, this is kind of an addiction, and if you're careful, it's not a positive addiction. If you're not careful, it can become not a positive addiction, but it can be definitely positive. And I feel like in many ways can like help us with issues that we have and that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you find that if you keep to those key moments of like, oh yeah, this is definitely something I'd like to have, or versus seeing it on the shelf and being happy with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I first got the classics He-Man and Skeletor, I had the biggest smile on my face seeing the pictures and taking it. And it's like I didn't want to take them out of the box at first, but then once I did, I felt like I was 4, and I was
Yeah.
He-Man, the very first He-Man I got, and that never went away. Every time I come down here and I see those figures, and that brings me a joy that my kids or my wife won't understand because they weren't 4 back in 1982. But here it is, and it's still, after all that time, it's powerful. I mean, no pun intended about the He-Man, but yeah, it's still
Right.
there. And then there's other things like Marvel Legends. I've had a few of those over my years of collecting, and that's one of the first ones to get out the door if I end up needing to sell stuff, because unless it's a specific character, I might have bought them just because, oh, that looks cool, and then a couple weeks later, why'd you buy that? You had a pre-order that you were trying to do something for, and you bought that instead. You weren't thinking, and so there is that, if you come back to it and you have that same smile, and you still have that, like your heart races just a little bit knowing it's there.
Yeah.
That is, to me, why it needs to stay then.
Yeah. Gamer Bud said I had the same feeling when I held the Origins He-Man. I cried a little having it in my hands after 30 plus years. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Same. 100%.
It's amazing.
I tell the story because I love saying it, but my buddy Ziggy, he used to work at Walmart, and he sent me the pictures because I just recently, I forget why, but I had talked about He-Man. It was probably because Revelations and CGI were on the way. And he saw Origins He-Man, Origins Skeletor while he was working one day, and he sent me the picture. I was like, no, wow, that's awesome. And next thing I knew, like a couple weeks later for Christmas, I'm opening it up. I could clearly tell what they were, even though they were wrapped.
Yeah.
That there's that distinct card and blister
Yeah.
for Masters of the Universe. I knew what it was the moment I saw it. And that overwhelming joy of opening that. And then a couple weeks later, my friend Ray and Corey worked together to get me Battle Cat, and getting that and opening that up. And it, like, this overwhelming sense of joy I hadn't felt since I was a small child,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it was like, to have this kind of moment again after 30 years. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And I love it.
I had a similar. I mean, we've all had those moments, and I think they're going to happen periodically throughout our lives, of course. But when I got my hands on the Filmation Super 7 Filmation Merman, that was emotional for me, and for the Merman as the action figure versus Merman in the mini comics versus Merman in the cartoon, and I loved all of them. Deeply loved every one of those designs, and having never, as a kid, wishing I could hold an action figure that looked like Merman in the cartoon, and having that opportunity was very cool. That was a very cool thing. And I own some classics that are not the Filmation classics, but that's the ones that I do own are the Filmation classics villains.
Yeah.
They're just, every one of them are beautiful. It's so cool to finally have that. So it'd be interesting to see if they incorporate, since they did do the Filmation He-Man, in Origins style for the television 4-pack. It'd be interesting to see if they incorporate more Filmation influenced figures. And I wasn't a big fan of the Filmation style Super 7 5.5 inch figures, the squat ones. Not a huge fan of those. But I could see them being successful with those designs in the Origin style.
Yep.
What do you say?
I'd like to see that too. I would like to see other characters like they did with Koldar and stuff like that's what I'm more interested in than redos of, you know, I mean, they can make another Trapjaw. I'd be happy with that. But but I would love to see more characters from the Filmation that haven't been made yet.
For sure. Sure. Yeah, that's definitely it.
I love that now they're really getting into different deep cuts that we haven't seen before too. Again, Koldar being one of them, Keklar being a whole nother one. You know, we've got Frogmonger from a sticker. We've got Modi from a molded little detail in a moat that's barely noticeable. Like the kind of detail or deep cuts that they're really, really bringing out, it truly shows that there is nothing off limits that they're not considering putting on the table with this line. We may not see a Mighty Spectre in the line, but I mean, I have a feeling pretty much anybody else is on the table at this point.
Yeah, Gamer Bud said the circus trainer Beastman impersonated. I think that would be hilarious. The circus, is that the same as the clown or is that different? I can't remember.
That's a different episode.
Different episode.
It'd just be wave one Beastman with a couple of different pieces.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And also the clown would be terrifying too. The clown guy, whatever his name was. I can't remember his name.
I can't stand clowns, but sure.
And so I don't know. I think Damon can pretty much sum up like how the overall theme of our episode on revising the collection. That is, be picky.
Right.
And I think that's really important. I do. I think it's really important. We get really excited about things as fans of Masters of the Universe, as fans of any IP. We get really excited. But remember to be picky, folks, and don't be afraid to get rid of stuff sometimes.
Or don't buy just to impress somebody else either.
Exactly. Don't buy.
Agree.
This with the different communities I'm in, it's refreshing to have collectors addressing this. So this was a great idea for an episode because there's so many people, they have FOMO about everything, so they have to get everything. It's like, are you really happy though? Are you really enjoying what you have if you have to have FOMO about every little thing that comes out every time? I mean, I've been there too, but at the same time, it's like I look at my shelves and I go, I'm not really wanting either. You know, like I still have stuff that really matters to me.
Yeah,
that's what I always say. You know, no one's going to come over to your house and say, how come you don't have this and how come you don't have that? You know, I say that all the time. And I used to think that way back in the past, you know, but I don't anymore. But just be happy with what you have, and whatever makes you happy, that's what you have to focus on, not other people's thoughts and ideas, you know. So don't listen to me.
That's so funny because that's like, well, so do we listen to you or not listen to you?
Right? I just told you, and then don't forget whatever I just said.
It's true though, but I will say this: if anybody comes over to your house and looks at your collection and says, "Well, why don't you have this or why don't you have that?" You can kick them out.
I'll just tell them right off the bat because you haven't bought it for me yet.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I've even done that with books. Like I have half of Stephen King's books, and I got rid of a lot of the other ones because I'm not going to read them. You know, like, well, you're not a true Stephen King fan. Well, yeah, I am. I just don't care about the older or the newer crap, you know, or whatever. So
you can own one Stephen King book and have read it 2 or 3 times and be a true Stephen King fan. You know, quantity does not make the fan.
Right.
And that's such a silly. It's so funny that people are like that.
It is.
It's such a misconception.
Yeah, one thing that I do not agree with is this whole fantasy that because you don't like something the same way somebody else likes something. That does not make you a true fan.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
what
you can
gonna
have one piece, just one thing.
One.
You're a fan of it. You don't have to purchase millions of dollars worth of stuff just to become a fan.
right.
So if all I had was the Mondo Trapjaw, I'd be happy too. And I wouldn't be happy because I love the vintage stuff so much. But you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Don't listen to me no more.
You could be happy with that, right? Like if that's what
Yeah.
you wanted, if that's the one piece you wanted, then that would make you happy.
Yeah, you go out there today and you buy mini comic Stratos off the shelf at Target. Honestly, do it just because I'm tired of seeing them. But if you go out there and you do that, and that is the only Masters of the Universe figure that you own, but you love it, you're a fan.
Yeah.
True fan, not a true fan. That doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
a fan. Enjoy it.
That's right.
I mean, the one name in the Masters community I think everybody knows is James Etok.
Yeah.
He said, like, you know, he doesn't have a collection. He has statues here and there, stuff, but he doesn't have the figures. But I don't think anybody out there would ever say, "Oh, he's not a true fan." I mean,
Right.
that's a great example to follow. Like, follow your passion with what it is that you love.
Yeah.
And I love this episode for this reason, because it's like, yeah, if all I had was one He-Man on my desk and that's all I had, that doesn't mean that I don't love it. It means that represents my love right there. That's, you know, sometimes for some, that's all you need.
Yep. So true. Well, on that note, guys, we can stop. We can go and have pleasant dreams about our attachment to these IPs and to these toys, and be comfortable in that, right?
Yes.
And then I'll be thinking about the Futuro home and aiming to eventually put that in the backyard and invite you guys to come see it.
I'd be paying admission, definitely.
I have to start playing the lottery is what I have to start doing.
Right? Who else feels like we all missed out?
Yeah,
With me on that hot streak from Legion's Con, I kept going, it's powerful, and then it was the day after. I'm like, oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
Hoping, but oh well.
Gamer Bud says, but if you don't like Stratos, you're not a true fan. That's right. That's so true.
That poor guy. No cred.
So I do want to thank Gamer Bud, because Gamer Bud's a patron of Skele Vader now, and
of Oz.
And of Oz too. That's true. And so
right.
folks, and I know Bobby is going to be starting his Patreon channel or site also soon. So Gamer Bud, thank you for being a Patreon. And also I want to thank Motu Origins Cork for recently becoming a patron. That's so awesome of you. And also Brick Something too. I don't think Brick Something is still in the chat, but thank you so much for you guys for being part of it and for supporting this channel. And that's really what that money goes to, is supporting our endeavors, whatever that might end up being. And so thank you all very much. And Sean, thanks so much for showing up tonight, because this was sort of like just a whim, and it worked out great. I'm so glad you're here to contribute to the conversation.
Oh, I'm always happy to be here. Thank you for the invite, and glad the timing all worked out for this, because it's always a good time.
Well,
it was nice meeting you.
Yeah. Bobby's like, who is this guy?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Two of them on the screen.
I knew who he was. I didn't know which one he was for the show.
Yeah. But
I'm just terrible with names. That's all.
We knew you two would get along great. And so and Bobby and Oz, thank you both so much. This is an awesome conversation. Sean, you should have seen our texts back and forth trying to figure out what we're going to talk about this week. And the dialogue to get to the point where we are now to revising the collection was hefty. I think it was about 80 pages. If we printed it out, 80 pages, single spaced. 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper.
Yeah,
I mentioned the Dooch and I do that too, so I can completely imagine how it feels.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're having a Thanksgiving episode next week on the 17th. Did I get the date right?
Yes.
yes, you did.
Mhm.
The 17th, and Sean and the Dooch will be showing up. We
All
just found out, so I'm excited about that.
I'm
And we're gonna have a few other guests too. Pretty confident Ray's gonna be here from Collecting Classics, and we got a few surprises up our sleeves, and it'll be fun.
So
Um,
yeah,
and we're gonna talk about what we're thankful for, which I feel like we do every episode. But we're gonna do it we're gonna extravagantly be thankful next week. So
there's never not a time to
yeah,
express gratitude,
yeah.
and during this month, definitely, but it's gonna be the first, Toy Frenzy, totally awesome Thanksgiving, and
Yes.
it's gonna be great. I can't wait.
We're excited. Oz, Bobby, any final thoughts?
I think I ran out of final thoughts like 5 final thoughts ago.
Yeah. I think I gave mine a little
Yeah.
bit earlier.
I
The
get it.
dialogue can always just run, but
That's great.
Anybody else across the street?
He's matching me. He's matching me.
oh, I'm going the wrong way.
Okay, I need to ask Sean, I need to ask Sean one question though, because I know Sean and the Dooch have their feelings about Origins.
Mhm.
When you see Mantenna in vintage style with the 4 legs, don't you just want to have that?
I'll tell you what, when they did it with classics, and I know I'm harping classics, I was amazed.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they still made it work for
Yeah.
Origins made me smile, because that was such a huge selling point for me with the classics edition. Because as a kid, I'm like, this just looks weird. This looks bow-legged. What the heck, And it's like your mind fills in the gaps, I guess. But once you see it for real in a figure, there's no way around it. You can't go back anymore. You gotta make that what it is going forward.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Thank you, Sin City Cindy, and of course, thank you, Thanos Copter. Really appreciate those comments, and thank you, Sean, for joining the frenzy tonight. It was really great having you, and thanks, Oz and Bobby, for making me look good. And I really appreciate you guys. I need you to know at the end of every episode how much I appreciate Oz and Bobby, because you guys, the end of every week ends on a joyous note because of you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And also thank you so much to everybody who joined the chat. The chat has just been hopping tonight. And thank you so much. This is a great conversation. Thank you everyone for being here. I need to say the YouTube stuff, right? So click like and subscribe. Tell your friends about the Skelevator channel. Tell your friends about Toy Frenzy. Tell your friends about Legends of Grayskull podcast. Tell your friends about the Powers of Eternia podcast. Tell your, just spread the word of the awesome verse, because it's growing and expanding, and it's constantly fun.
And don't forget to talk about the Skeleverse and the vintage verse.
That's right. The
it's growing.
Can I change it to Vaderverse? No, Skeleverse is good too. I don't know. Yeah, it's the verses are growing, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Verses. It's the multiverse. Let's just say it. Thank you all, everybody, and let's get some sleep. Recover from a hefty week of stressing out about Eternia. Maybe Sean, you weren't stressing out, but a lot of folks were. But it was intense. It was intense, and now we can get some rest. And if you're having a 3-day weekend for the holiday, enjoy it. If not, try to enjoy that too. All right, folks. Have a great night.
See you, everybody.
See ya. Have a good one.